Your sound of everything that you've dropped thus far has been a throwback specifically to early 2000s R&B. Where did that inspiration come from? Like, what did you listen to growing up?
Yeah.
And like, what do you love about that sound so much that makes you want to make this?
Yeah, so I mean, me growing up, I grew up as like a dancer. Like I grew up in a dancing household. Like, you know, my cousins were dancing, and I just wanted, like, you know, I love watching the step ups.
I was gonna say like Stomp the Yard.
Yeah,
like,
Stomp the Yard, all of those, bro.
Okay.
Literally, like I was trying to be a big dancer, but what happened was at a really young age, I moved to the suburbs. So it's like, you know, that whole dance culture was like, it was away, you know, it was just more sports. So that's why I was just like just singing and everything. And in high school, I got introduced to Bryson Tiller's music, you know, the trap soul and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I don't know what this is, but this is fire. You know what I mean? It didn't sound like the typical R&B that most R&B singers be singing. And I'm like, this is lit. And then he had that record with Rihanna, you know? And like growing up, I always heard the 2000s music, like let's say like some Usher. I heard some of the
so much sense
Chris
now.
Brown, some Sean Paul heavy, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we love to dance to those type of rhythms. But yeah, mainly when I heard that Wild Thoughts record, I was like, okay, something about this record just sticks. It was not even the fact that it was the 2000s, just the fact that it was sticking. I was like, yo, I like this.
Did you know it was a remake when you first heard it? See, I didn't think so. Now it's all making sense to me because you got introduced to Bryson and you loved him, and then he happened to do this throwback record that you didn't even know was a throwback, but that sound spoke to you.
So one thing that a lot of people like would think is with my sound is they would think that like I kind of studied the 2000s. I grew up listening to all these 2000s records. I'm just now really enjoying a lot of the 2000s.
So you're now learning about a lot of it?
Like growing up, my dad used to play a lot of like the Boyz II Men. Those are like the R&B I would say that I would listen to, but not really like heavy 2000s as in like I was like really listening to it. That's why my sound sounds like that. My sound was literally based off of a feeling, bro. Like when I heard that record, I was like, bro, that's a feel good record. Yeah, let me try to make the remix. Like I told you, I did the Wild Thoughts remix. I'm like, yo, let me do the remix. I was writing with it, and I just had so much fun writing it, and the feel of it. I was like, yeah, I need to make more music that has this feel of it. So I think the feeling was the feeling of having a record that feels timeless. Yeah, the bounce was right, and it was fun.
And you could dance to it.
So I'm like, if I make music that has those elements, even if it has that nostalgic feeling to it, I think rebranding it a little bit to a newer style, but having that feeling that this is gonna be a timeless record. Like Chico made this in 2024, but I could hear it in 2070. Right. You know what I mean? So that's literally what I was trying to do with, and it all came from the Wild Thoughts record.
That is pretty interesting that Wild Thoughts record sparked the direction of your entire career.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know it was a throwback.
I didn't even know not only I didn't know it was a throwback, I never studied the throwback. Right. So it's not like I had a blueprint to make throwback music, you know. Yeah. It was all part of the feeling and the vibe. And like I'm a dancer, you know, I just felt it, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I think that's probably why when I heard your music, I thought it moved me because it felt authentic. I didn't know if you were aware of the music from that time or if you had been put onto it. I assumed you'd heard some. But like what you're telling me now about Wild Thoughts makes so much sense, especially because then you did that freestyle. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like you're trying to do something, is my point. It feels like you're doing what you do and you're letting what is inside of you come out into the music.
100%. And you know, sometimes I feel like the records, like, you know, like I'm saying, I'm trying to rebrand that 2000s and mix it with the new school. Yeah. I would either use like a beat the beat feels probably a little older and the lyricism and the flow is more new. Or the lyricism is probably like delivery-wise feels like more like 2000s Lover, and the beat's a little newer. So it all has like, you know, you share the elements a little to bounce it around. Yeah. So it doesn't feel too gimmicky either.
For sure. Well, I mean, this is probably going to sound like a gimmicky question, but Bryson named his vibe Trap Soul.
Trap Soul.
Do you have a name for what it is that you're doing?
For what I'm doing? Vibes, you know what it is? I think that's one of those answers that I'm gonna know whenever the time comes.
When it comes to you.
Like, it's gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be reading The Alchemist. I'm like, yo, what is this?
You're gonna read The Alchemist,
and then I might be eating pizza, and then I'm like, yo, I might make a sound or something. I'm like, that's the name.
That's the one.
That's the same.
Okay.
Yeah,
when you think of it, you gotta link me and let me know what it is.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna call you. You're gonna be the first one. I'll be like, bro, I found it.
Yup. Thank you for tuning in to Live Actually. This was just a clip from this week's episode. If you want to see the full episode, click that link right there in the description. It's the first one right there. You see it? Right there. And while you're at it, make sure you hit that subscribe, all right? Big love from Four Corners. That's me. And this has been Live Actually. See you on the next one.